Yeah, I have Wi-Fi. You're on Wi-Fi. I'm running. Kids.
All right, good morning. This is the Family Law Docket A, self-represented docket. I'm Commissioner Dave Nelson. Next, Shauna Ray and Jason Chappelle. I see Ms. Ray here.
I'm here.
Mr. Chappelle, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the question that I put this case over for was whether the children would be returned to the father. Have they been returned at this point?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay. All right, and Mr. Chappelle has moved for contempt because of a number of things. You still want to go forward with that hearing, Mr. Chappelle?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Then what we'll do is hear from Mr. Chappelle, and then Ms. Ray, you can respond. And then Mr. Chappelle, you have a chance to reply to that. So go ahead. Tell me or tell the court why you're moving for contempt in this case.
I found this order for contempt due to Shauna not following the parenting plan. I repeatedly reached out to speak with my children during the time that they were withheld. From 12/25 on the filing. Over the 2-week period of time they have missed doctor's appointments, school, and court-ordered counseling. As per the court ordered, page 9, section 1 of the parenting plan, I am supposed to be able to call and speak with my children while they are in the other party's custody. Without interference from the other party. At this time, before she returned them, I was unable to speak with them at all. So it was very stressful, not only on myself, but my children as well. I have reached out, text, email, phone calls. Shauna blocked communications for a while. I had to do a welfare check with law enforcement, make sure they were okay. She refused to respond to anything concerning kid return. I have been active communicating with CPS and the child's counselors. I'd like to find Miss Ray in contempt and place limitations on her visits to supervised only, but also like Miss Ray to follow through with personal counseling and attend the parenting classes that I and my spouse have completed, directions of the court. Let's see. The kid missed, my daughter Paisley missed a medical procedure scheduled for her ear that she was unable to attend due to being withheld, which is the second time it has been rescheduled due to Shauna's interference. Brady has shown signs of rebelling or being acting out at school and also home. But they're back on their necessary medication and attending school regular and stabilized.
Keep reading.
It's just they're unable to do all the things that we had them to do, like for their well-being. We asked her to take a UA and she did not comply. She was properly served. And they missed school, they missed other things. But like I listed some places where she could do supervised visits and or Zoom visits. And also there's a concern about Mr. Wymore being in the house during the time the kids were there. And there was a report of my son running away from home. Shauna asked the cops to try to find him the day before Christmas. Or the day before, we picked him up on the 10th. Several of the people in the household put restraining orders against him.
Only he would know that if he's not on my phone. Right.
So
Okay, let me hear from Ms. Ray, okay? Ms. Ray, do you have a response to this request for a finding of contempt?
I do. First and foremost, I would like to apologize to you on my behalf, only because I'm just now learning that I really didn't have, I wasn't supposed to be withholding my children without your approval. And I was under this impression that if I felt that he wasn't following the parenting plan, that I could without your approval. So that's the reason why I withheld them. I withheld them because Mr. Chappell is not in the home with my children. He is residing in a drug and alcohol facility, and my children reside with his girlfriend. I would like to see if I can get a continuance, and that's only because I was not properly served these papers. I was served my paperwork on the 9th, and we had court on the 11th. He has many documents in here stating that he's tried to serve me or that he has served me on the 30th, and that is incorrect. He served my aunt, Renee Ray, not me. I wasn't even home, and he served her on the 9th. And they told her to give these papers to an adult, and she's 56 years old, so I don't know what they meant by that, except for that she is handicapped. And when I got home, I wasn't even given those papers till later that night because they forgot. Anyhow, we had court on the 11th, and I tried to attend my Zoom meeting multiple times. I talked to the office. They tried to get me on, and we couldn't, and it just ended up where everybody already stated what needed to be, and I missed my hearing. Let's see here. Mr. Chappell, I feel, is getting away with a lot. he is not in the home. Maybe he is now, but he was not in the home for 6 months. Why did I decide to do anything until now? I guess is because I'm constantly giving in to them, and I need to not, because it's not doing me anything except for the position that I'm in now. They did miss school due to my withholding. However, I was trying to get them into everything they needed to be in here, and everybody was called, and I was denied any kind of access, or I mean, not access, but the school told me you can't. That they got a phone call, and they said that I did not have any parental rights to put my children into school. I thought that I had rights, and I'm being told that pretty much I have no rights to my children except for the visits that I get on the weekends, and that's every other first, third, and fifth weekend. I went from having my children full time to this, and I miss my children. This has all become like some, it shouldn't go this far, Your Honor, as far as they're taking all this. I have attached in this paperwork that I was supposed to do a UA. Okay, well, that's the only thing that I have is the paperwork that he's attached. There are emails. I have stated to them many times that the phone number that they're texting me on, the email address that they have doesn't work at all. The phone number, I don't even get half of my calls, my messages, nothing. They've known this. I've actually had to get a new number and a new email, everything, because of this matter. I was not aware that I had a drug screening until this was attached to this. Another question that I have is that on the 11th, the day that I missed court, this paper was dropped off at my door by an officer after Jason had been trying to get the kids from me. And it just says that you signed it, told me to give him the kids immediately. However, when I got this paper, Your Honor, I called the courthouse, and the courthouse said that nothing was signed yet, and that it wouldn't be signed until we go to court on the 25th, which is today. So I'm wondering where this paper came from on the 11th that was handed to me with your signature, and is stating that pretty sure. Oh, that they're wanting $800 a month at 96% interest, all kinds of stuff. Can I ask, did you sign something on the 11th?
I'm looking up that. There was $800 amount, $96 was the interest on that money.
Yeah.
That was for failure to pay child support, I believe. Okay.
Failure.
Let me go back to Mr. Chappelle. Any reply?
I have not been out of the house for 6 months. It was only November, December, and part of October. Currently, I've been residing in a sober house and doing outpatient. I've been following the recommendations of my recovery team. I have been in recovery since before the final parenting plan. The children have been in the care of a known and trusted person with minor attorney of power, my wife, in case of emergencies. All their needs have been met. Appointments attended, school attendance is great, daily checks. I've been doing daily checks and weekly visits, attending appointments with them, and active in counseling, my own and theirs. I don't
Okay.
know what else to refer to.
All right. Thank you both. This case has been before me a few times, and the beginning concern was Mr. Chappelle was to get the children back, I believe, on Christmas Day, and they were not returned. Ms. Reyes indicated that she didn't realize she needed to come to court to make a change. Not realizing that, I don't think forgives the lack of transferring the children back to Mr. Chappelle. The parenting plan is clear that Ms. Chappelle receives the children on the weekend. Mr. Chappelle is the main, has primary custody. The Christmas visitation plan was set out clearly, and that was not followed. Ms. Ray has raised some concerns of her own. And apparently Mr. Chappelle has asked for a UA, which is provided for under Section 14 of the current parenting plan. And Ms. Ray did not follow through on that. So here's what I'm going to do today. First of all, I am going to require Ms. Ray do a UA between now and Friday and file the results with the court under seal, which means they're protected from the public. Secondly, I'm going to reappoint Mallory Smith as the guardian ad litem to investigate where we're at currently since the parenting plan has been issued. So that's the second issue. The third is between now and, the near future, any visitations with Ms. Ray need to be supervised by a professional supervisor. I'm hoping after a report from Ms. Smith that we can perhaps remove that requirement. But for right now, the concern is that Ms. Ray kept the kids in contravention of the current parenting plan, and I don't want to have that be an issue in the future. So we're going to have supervised visits. Finally, the request today is for makeup time for Mr. Chappelle for the time he missed. And I'm going to reserve on that. I'm going to do this. I'll make a finding that you're entitled to makeup time. I just don't know when I'm going to order it. and for what period of time I'm going to order it. So I'm going to find you are entitled to that because of the kids were with Ms. Ray for a period of time when they should have been with Mr. Chappelle. But I'm going to address exactly when that is in the future. Okay, so it's going to be Ms. Ray will need to arrange for the professional supervision. We'll need to pay for it. Mr. Chappelle, you'll need to cooperate by bringing the kids over to a professional supervisor when that's arranged. Okay, I'm going to set another hearing to see whether that's been accomplished for February 8th. It's 2 weeks. And to have Ms. Smith will likely contact both of you before that time, and I'm interested in what she has to say. All right, I'm going to do a bench order to that effect. I'm not going to sign the contempt order at this time. And I'll see both of you back here in 2 weeks, okay? All right, thank you. Thank you. Priscilla Brewer and Timothy Brewer. All right, next is Francisco Pena and Kylie Croy. You guys saw Mr. Pena here.
Here, Your Honor.
I did. Is Miss Croy here?
Yes.
Oh, there we are. Good. I see your name now. All right. I wanted to check in. Good morning, Mr. Lawrence. How are you?
Morning.
Wanted to check in on the order I entered. Looks like on November 28th. And that is that Mr. Pena would have 3 hours supervised visits with Haven and also 3 hours unsupervised. Mr. Pena, how has that been going? Can you give me an update?
They've been going pretty well. She's having a good time over there. Except for this one time when she went to my house for the first time, she was kind of iffy about it, but I just comfort her around the house in like an hour, and then she was fine after that. But overall, it's been pretty good.
All right. And you obtained a car seat
Yes.
and you installed a child gate at the top of the stairs.
Yes, I sent that to Keith, a picture of it.
And you're continuing with your substance abuse and domestic violence treatment.
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Ms. Croy, what's your impression on how things are going?
It was to my knowledge that the unsupervised visitation was supposed to be done at his house. His sister's been helping out a lot with transportation, but upon her coming and picking her up one day, she had mentioned that the supervision or unsupervised visit was at his mother's house. And my mom had stated to beforehand that the visits were at his mom's house. So I'm kind of, I guess, wondering, like, are they actually at his house, or is he claiming that they're at his house and they're at his mom's house? Like, because I was told that they were going to be at his house and that he was going to basically have like a surprise visit here and there from someone.
At first I didn't have the gate at my house, so I had to do it at my mom's visits because the gate was required.
When are you having the visits at your house now?
Yeah.
The last visit was at his mom's house. It's been at his mom's house since November whatever day you issued, that we start doing unsupervised visitation.
If they're at his mom's house, does that raise a concern for you, Ms. Croy?
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't have a problem with it per se if I wasn't so concerned about the people that I don't personally know going in and out of the house. And his friends aren't exactly the best influence. And I'm not assuming that they go over there, but if they have one over there or do go over there, I do not want my kid exposed to them, if that makes sense, or temporary people. So I would prefer that we do it at his house, but.
Okay. Mr. Lawrence, any input?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Croy had expressed to me that she had concerns that Fran was having some of his friends over for the visit. And I contacted Mr. Francisco or Pena and indicated to him that this was reserved for him and his daughter to have their visits only, and he was not to have any visitors. And he responded that he would comply with that. And Mr. Pena has been providing me with copies of handwritten notes showing times and activities that he has been doing with Haven during each of the visits. And he also supplied me with a copy of his driver's license and car insurance so that he can transport Haven without any problems.
Okay. All right. I'm going to be a little bit more specific then. So I'd like the visits to be at your apartment, Mr. Pena, or a public setting. All right. So if you want to go to the mall or go to a park, that's fine. These are the unsupervised visits. Rather than at your mother's house. I will, however, if your mother wants to come to your house to visit, I don't see any problem with that. I do see a problem with a number of friends coming, but I don't see a problem if your mother wants to come over and spend time with her grandchild. She can do that during your unsupervised visit. But I think that's the only person that I'm at this point going to allow to come over and do that. All right.
Okay.
I think I want to go another 2 months with that because we did have, sounds like some issues today. I am going to be looking at trying to remove the supervised visits, but I want to make sure everybody is comfortable with that and everybody knows what the ground rules will be. So let's, as they are with that modification, let me find a date here when we can be back. That would be March 15th.
You notice my cameras.
So we'll be back here March 15th at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you,
And
Ron.
stay in touch with Mr. Lawrence. Any issues that come up, you should probably bring to his attention. And if they need to be brought to the court's attention, you can note a motion to do that. Okay.
I will.
Okay. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Next up is Tegan Christinger and Haley King. No, Miss Fellows is on that. I don't see either of them.
Yes, Your Honor. The mother has emailed me saying that she's in the waiting room.
Oh, well, there's nobody in the waiting room right now. I didn't
She says it would either be under her name or under the phone number, last 3 digits or 3917.
Would you, let's pass this. Would you email her back and ask her to try again?
Okay, will do.
I don't see her in the waiting room. I would like to hear from both of them.
Okay.
Okay. All right, next will be Elizabeth Muro and Rigoberto Montes. And I know they're both here.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Montes.
Good morning, Your Honor.
I just received, I think it was delivered today, proposed parenting plan. Looks like you both signed off on it. Okay. And then there was a financial declaration from Elizabeth Muro. And then pay stubs also. So I'll sign the parenting plan. I did receive some information regarding Mr. Montez' employment currently, and I think I need to take that into consideration and look at the parenting plan to see what kind of child support would be owed. At this point, I don't know that we're ready to go forward with that part of the case today. And then are you, let me start with Ms. Muro. Are you discussing how to handle the property at this point?
We had Scott Forrester go to the house. There should be a letter a bench copy that you should have received this morning, an email from him. Both Rigo and I received the same email, and I printed it off and sent you a copy and filed a copy. I'm really sorry about that. I'm working a lot, and by the time I leave work here, it's 5, and then I head to my other job, or you guys are already closed. So I've just had a really hard time this month managing what you wanted me to get into you. So I was able to come in to work late today, so I was able to drop those off and get them to you, at least at your bench, and I filed a copy as well. With that being said, I have asked Rigo several times to decide whether he wants to pay me out or what he wants to do. He says that he's waiting on some stuff. I don't push him for further conversation on it. I don't know how to continue with the finalization of the divorce if we're going to be holding on to property and our assets. So I mean, I've never been divorced, and either has Rigo, so this is just unfamiliar waters to us. But I do feel like things are kind of lingering, and it makes me feel uneasy. So
okay.
Right now, I would like to know if Rigo wants to buy me out, or if he wants to. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. So I know you want an answer to that question, but
I know.
let me say this, that before any case can go to trial in this county, it has to go through a settlement conference, and that's mandated by the legislature. It seems to me you've agreed on the parenting plan. What you have left is kind of the economics, and it seems to be going to a settlement conference is the next step that you should take to see if those issues can be resolved between the two of you. So what I'd like to do is put this on what we call the universal trial setting calendar for next Wednesday. That's February 1st. And you want to write this down. That's at 1 p.m.
A universal trust calendar.
trial setting calendar. And it's to set a mandatory settlement conference, or what we call an MSC.
Is that mandatory considering it's a DV situation? What's it look like, Your Honor? Are we at a table? Is it Zoom?
It's on Zoom. I'm probably going to handle it.
Okay.
And except for initial outline of what we're doing, I put everybody in separate breakout rooms. So there would be no contact if you did not want. In fact, if you didn't want to have contact with Mr. Montez in that setting, you could tell me. I could put you, or whoever does it could put you in a breakout room right away.
Okay. I think it will be fine. I just I've been really anxious, and I have a lot going on right now, so I just yeah. I just wanted to mentally prepare for it, so that
won't happen next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is when you'll pick the date for that.
Oh, okay. Very good then. There's a couple of things that I want to talk to you about.
Let me hear from Mr. Montez first, just on that issue. Mr. Montez, will that be agreeable to you to set this first settlement conference?
Yeah, that'll be fine. I don't think there's much disagreement when it comes to the property. My option one, I would like to give her part, but if I cannot find the money to pay her out, then obviously, the sale will be necessary. But I have no intentions of, I don't know, whatever we made is hers and is mine,
Okay. All right. So make sure you're both in court. It's called universal trial setting. Would that be click on Zoom?
Would that be steps? Sorry. Would that be similar steps to this type of Zoom meetings? Like to get to the right courtroom.
You'll be on Zoom and you'll click the universal trial setting.
Okay.
And you'll handle it on Zoom. Then the court administration will pick a time for you. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Muro, you said you had a couple other issues.
So I get to move into my rental. I think I actually get the keys tonight. Tomorrow. I took Friday off of work to move in, and I have asked Rigo to make sure that himself and his parents are not in the house Friday, so I can get my belongings out of the house. He seems to be okay with me taking what I need. He's actually told me to take everything. I'm not going to. And he didn't do it. He didn't state it condescendingly. He actually genuinely said, take whatever I need. But I really just don't want his parents there. And I've asked him, and he pretty much made the comment, well, we'll see what the judge orders. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't need very much, but I just need my things. Some of my kids' things, because I have bought new furniture, new bedroom set, and things like that for my rental already. It's just some small things and going through other things. So if I could just have Rigo be told maybe to not be at the house, and same with his parents, I can go there without having to deal with any anxiousness and eyes staring at me and things like that. It's already going to be hard enough. I just don't want an audience.
All right. Are there any more issues, or is that it?
You said we're not going to go over the child support and spousal support today?
Not today. We'll set a time for that, because I just got the information from both of you.
Okay,
as to your earnings.
okay. Yeah, for now, that's fine. He still hasn't paid what you were ordered him in November 23rd or 24th for the moving cost. I actually talked to him about that and he said he just doesn't have it. But even if he had given me like $500, that would help too at this point. I have to buy new beds for my kids and things like that. So I just really have been pinching my pennies and being very careful. And I know that he's still providing for our home over there, all those expenses, but I just feel like he doesn't understand the gravity of needing to like honor his part of what's court ordered. Because had I been court ordered to do something, I would make sure that I would do what I could.
All right. So as to the last point, the $5,000 is owing. If it's not paid and we are in a settlement conference, and I'm not saying it should be delayed to then, I think it needs to be paid right away. But if it can't be, then it will be one of the adjustments in the property values that we'll take into account at the settlement conference. As to this Friday, it's this Friday, right, that you're moving?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Montes, I'm going to order that you and your parents not be at the house between 9 and 5. And if you're working, great. But I think there's just going to be too much opportunity for harsh words at a minimum if you and your parents are there. So if you could leave, and I'm going to enter a bench order to that effect, then Ms. Muro can go in, remove her things, and be out by 5 o'clock, if not before. Okay.
And I can contact him once I'm done. That way he can let his parents know to return.
Okay. I've signed the parenting order that both of you have signed off on, so that'll become part of the court file. And then next Wednesday, you'll need to go to a settlement conference. I think I'm going to load you with dates here. I want to set a review hearing a month from now on February 22nd and make sure the settlement conference has been set and just address any other issues. And let's handle child support at that time.
Can you clarify what hand go means?
What means?
Did you say hand go? Like HAND?
Handle.
Handle.
Handle. I'm sorry. Well, handle.
Sorry.
Child support. I know through Zoom it can get lost.
Okay.
So that'll be on February 22nd. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Right. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Your Honor. Have a good day, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Is Haley King here? I just admitted one of our booths. It's our tech guy that's working on it. So okay, we'll wait on Miss King for a little bit more. Okay, I don't.
She said that she's been trying to get on, but she just can't. She said that she went out and came back in. So is there anybody in the waiting room?
There's nobody in the waiting room right now.
Okay.
You're in touch with her. Would it make sense to just put this over a week and maybe she could come up to the courthouse next week and either be on one of our iPads or come into the courtroom.
Yeah, I will
What-
let her know, and I'll let the father know as well.
Okay, so let's put it over 1 week.
Okay.
And or I guess technical issues.
Okay.
And I'll invite her to come here if she wants to show up in person.
Okay.
She can. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Blacklaw versus Myers, and we have both Mr. Blacklaw and Dakota Myers here.
Hello, Your Honor.
Good morning. Just give me a moment here. I want to pull up your file. All right, the first thing I have is Mr. Blacklaw is requesting a restraining order. Are you still requesting that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So the way I'm going to handle that is I'm going to place Mr. Blacklaw under oath, and he will tell me why he wants a restraining order entered. And then Ms. Myers, I'll place you under oath and you'll have a chance to respond. And then Mr. Blacklaw will have a chance to reply to that. And we'll make a decision regarding the restraining order. Then after that, we'll take up whatever other issues you may want to address today. Okay. So Mr. Blacklaw, you want to raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What is your full name, please?
Austin Wayne Blacklaw.
All right. And is everything you stated in your petition for a restraining order true and correct?
Yes.
Right. Tell the court why you're seeking a restraining order in this case.
I'm seeking one because she has been trying to get a hold of me, call me nonstop. She's called me over 30 times within a 2-hour period. And she has said she's going to show up to my apartment or my girlfriend's apartment and even stay there all night if she has to. And I do not feel like my daughter is safe in her care because of obvious reasons with the pictures when she had her in her care, that the condition of Hazel when she was in her care was completely unacceptable, and it terrifies me that she didn't try and help her in any way. Didn't try and take her to the hospital, get a hold of anyone, call the cops, anything. And I'm scared if she had her in her possession, what would happen again? Or what could happen. I took her to the appointments, everything. She was bruised, like lacerations. She has a broken arm. I can send you pictures of what happened when I got her back. And she hasn't took her to any of the doctor's appointments or anything like she said she was. And I just feel like she's an unfit and possible hazard to Hazel.
Has there been a report made to CPS about any of this?
Yes. To Ryan Motes and Whitney Keith.
And are they still investigating?
Yes. They've deemed me suitable to have her full time. I can give you both of their informations if you want that too, and they can be a part of the phone call. They've had walkthroughs, I mean, safety checkups, everything.
We're gonna see about that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Myers, let me place you under oath, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you're coming through a little light. If you could get close to your microphone. What is your name, please?
Dakota Sky Myers.
All right, it's still fairly light. I don't know. Can we turn the volume up on our end? You know, we're going to try and increase the volume here. All right, just speak up and go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Not very well.
No? Oh boy, okay.
Well, when you say, oh boy, we heard that because that was a lot louder. So that's the voice you're gonna have to speak in, okay?
Perfect. My name is Dakota Sky Myers.
Okay, thank you. And what is your, how would you like to respond?
Well, I can say regarding everything that is being against me and accusing me, I have not spoken to nobody. I have not been told nothing. So regarding everything that's being accused, I don't understand how I can be getting a protection order against my own kid. Yes, I did call him 32 times exactly because he has my daughter and I want to see my kid. He was barely the fuck around. Sorry, excuse my language. He was barely around for her. I took care of her for the first year of her life, day in and day out, when we were together and when we weren't. There were times he would rather go get drunk with his buddies than come home. There were times where I would come home and she was in her crib with a full diaper, not fed, and crying with vomit on her while he was passed out drunk with beers all around him in his mother's house in his bedroom. Numerous accounts. Not only that, I cannot physically trust him when it comes to not abusing our child. He can sit here and negligate the whole time that I'm doing this and all that. But let me just tell you this. Every time I would get her back, I would have to constantly not only take her to her doctor appointments to David Myers at the St. John's Medical Center more than a countless amount of times. He would not physically allow me to give her shots. I had to physically go behind his back to get them done. She would come back to me with so many boils from a diaper rash because she was not being properly taken care of. She was still, after the doctor had specifically ordered that she was to be weaned off formula at 9.5 months, he chose to continue for a year and 3 months to continue giving her formula when it was instructed not to. She was supposed to have lactose milk because she is lactose intolerant. The day I got picked up, it was a 911 call for my own kid. I was suffering from the flu with 103-degree temperature and asked my friend to take care of her for the night so I can get some proper rest. Sorry, this is just like a really big thing. A mother being ripped from her child is not good. It's gonna, I mean, he doesn't have to be afraid of
Ms.
me.
Myers, there, I think, are two concerns. One is that Hazel was returned to the father and she had a broken arm. Do you know anything about that?
No, I do not. And on December 6th, when he decided to get her pictures and stuff done at the Vancouver Medical Hospital, I'm pretty sure, those were completely almost healed. So for some reason, that just doesn't make any sense to me. My daughter came back to me that Sunday at 2 o'clock from the 17th Avenue Park in Lake Sacagawea with bruises on her arms and on her forehead. And not only that, let's not get into the whole case of him still not properly taking care of her with her diaper changes and feeding her actual food. He would constantly leave her with his mother and other people while he chose to go out and do other things. That is my main concern. And not only that, just 2 months ago, a person who was also living in their home, mind you, who I will also be subpoenaing, and because she asked me that she will do so. She was telling me that constant times when she would come home from work, that there would be diapers, not only filing and piling and piling and piling in trash cans in their bedroom, that she was not being properly taken care of. She was crying constantly overnight, not going to her rescue, no, mind you, leaving her there with her night terrors, knowing she has night terrors, leaving her in that room by herself with 2 other kids. Then, when I find out about this and accuse him of it, he finally moves her into his bedroom with her and his little girlfriend. And at that moment, she was starting to notice that every time she was crying, he was just giving her a bottle and putting her in front of the TV. Barely would she ever see him even go out to the kitchen to grab any type of snacks, food, nothing. She wasn't being bathed. She was getting bruises, even escalating even further. And she even showed me even more proof of them still feeding her formula. Because I'm sorry, there should be no reason that there's a can of formula in your guys' house with no kids that are under the age of. End of my case.
The second concern is that you may be staying with or seeing Jeremy Minyard, who apparently pulled a firearm on Mr. Blacklaw. Are you aware of that?
That is not my place to tell. I am not Jeremiah Minyard, so I cannot do that or say so.
Okay. Mr.
But
Blacklaw.
I am, yes, living and in a relationship with Jeremiah Minyard, who takes better care of him. Way better.
All right, Mr. Blacklaw, any response?
Yes. With the person that they're friends with, that was living with us at that moment of time, I reported a false report from the calls of CPS because they were talking to each other and basically plotting this. And every time I did take Hazel into CPS so they can do the checkup, because that's mandatory, both times came back perfectly fine. Nothing's wrong. She's being perfectly handled as is. And I can have a can of baby formula laying out. It was actually holding my coffee for the coffee maker, but irrelevant. If you'd like to talk to Ryan Motes and we can get all these details and the facts and evidence that prove that Hazel was in her care when all this went down, that's completely okay. I have pictures, I have proof. He knows everything that went on. It was deemed that she was in her care when she had the broken arm, lacerations, and everything of that sort. I have proof of it. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah,
I've been taking her to the doctors. I've been doing everything I can just to get her back. And she has night terrors since that day. But since then, she has been a lot better.
Night terrors
She
since
was
before
very
then.
lethargic. She was very lethargic when I got her back. And she was scared of anyone other than me.
It's because she doesn't know any of you and she doesn't like you, dude.
Thank you for that. But
I'm literally trying to rip out of your arm.
Okay. Based on what I've heard here today, and wait till I get to the end of what I'm going to say, I'm going to enter a temporary restraining order. And that in particular requires that Ms. Myers not disturb Mr. Blacklaw, not go to his home or workplace, vehicle or school, and to remain 1,000 feet away from his home, vehicle or workplace or school. It also requires that she stay away from Hazel, but I would like to have either telephone or video visits with Hazel. And I'll tell you the kind of the time frame on this. I don't think it makes sense for you to call each other. For that is there somebody, Mr. Blacklaw, that Hazel could be with that Ms. Myers could call in order to have video visits?
Yes, that's possible.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure about video quite yet, but I can try and work on that.
Okay. Yeah, obviously you need the equipment to do that. I would like to have telephone and or video visits 2 times a week. And Mr. Blacklaw, let Ms. Myers know who she could call to do that and the times that that person would be available with Hazel for her to do that. I don't think it's appropriate to completely cut off Ms. Myers' contact from Hazel. Okay. So on the restraining order, I'm going to add that Ms. Myers will have telephone and or video visits 2 times a week.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go on and tell you a couple more things.
Okay.
All right. Secondly, I'm going to appoint someone who's called a guardian ad litem to investigate the parenting situation in this case. There's been allegations made by both of you about the other, and the court needs a third party to discuss all that with each of you and advise the court. And their focus is what's in the best interest of Hazel. Okay. And that's what the court needs. So I'm going to, usually we get 3 names. If you were attorneys, you'd get to strike a name, but we'll hear the 3 names and then I'll indicate who will be appointed.
Amy Turnbull, Vashti Langford, or Ann Heights?
Who was the first one?
Amy Turnbull.
Oh, Amy Turnbull.
I'd prefer, Your Honor.
All right, so the names were Amy Turnbull, Vashti Langford, and Ann Height. Do either of you know any of those folks?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Myers.
Ann Heights?
You know Ann Height?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so based on that, I'm not going to appoint her, but we would typically appoint the first person on the list. So that's going to be Amy Turnbull.
Okay.
She will reach out to you and we'll need to get some information from you. Now, in terms of paying for it, the initial order will have you each pay 1/2 of her actual costs. She can charge, well, she'll tell you what her hourly rate is. If you feel you cannot afford that because your income is low, you can file a declaration of your financial status and ask me to have the court have the county pay. Okay, but you'll need to file a declaration of your financial status first to do that.
Okay.
All right, so I've signed, well, let me make sure I signed it here. Just a minute.
Is there any possible way to get Ryan Motes, the CPS worker, involved?
You'll have to talk to him, whether, I'm sure Ms. Turnbull will reach out to him to talk to him. He can also file a declaration in the case of, if he wants to. It's going to be up to him. Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right. I've signed the restraining order. As I've indicated, I appointed Ms. Turnbull as the guardian ad litem. I'm ordering telephone or video visits twice a week between Ms. Myers and Hazel. Are there any other issues that we need to address today?
The only thing I have a question on regarding what he had just said about the CPS, Ryan Moats. I was also informed that it was transferred from Washington into Columbia County here in Oregon. I was wondering if you know exactly who that might be, if it's not Whitney.
That's something I would not know.
I do. That would be the police investigation. It was turned over to Columbia County because she and everything that happened would be where she lives in Rainier, Oregon. And Whitney Keith is the CPS worker in Vancouver. Brian Moats is the one that works in Longview.
Longview. Yeah, I know that one.
Okay, is there another CPS worker in Vancouver that you know of? Do you know a name?
There was another one. I'd have to track her info down. I might have it in my wallet. Shouldn't stick around
Or
long.
you
Other
can.
thing I wanted to discuss as well, if possible. I have a lot of pictures and stuff that are in a tote and hanging on his wall in his mother's house in his room. I need those back. Those are my ultrasound pictures, and a couple other like important things are in that box.
Okay, so let me let you know a couple things. First of all, you should show those to the guardian ad litem when she gets involved.
Okay.
Second of all, if you want the court to consider any of that, you'll need to file it with the court. And we usually do that, what we call under seal, which means it's not open to the public. And you'll need to provide a copy to Mr. Blacklaw.
Okay.
And then finally, you can offer those to the CPS investigator. If you're concerned about Mr. Blacklaw's conduct towards Hazel, you're free to ask CPS to open their own investigation into his conduct. Okay. So those are kind of the array of choices that you have. You can do one or more of those, right?
Sounds good. Thank
Okay,
you.
we need to set a review date. And I think I'm going to go 3 weeks out. So that would be February 15th.
What time?
And it'll be 9 o'clock, just like today. And it will be on Zoom, just like today.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
And with these,
All right, we'll see you back here then. And I want to make sure that Ms. Turnbull has been able to contact both of you.
with these televised visits or phone whatever visits, does that start next week on Monday? And
Well, right now I'm going to leave it to the two of you or to whoever you are going to utilize to be with Hazel to contact Ms. Myers and pick 2 convenient days a week to do that.
okay.
All right. I'm hoping you can do that. If you can't, then I'll define it on the 15th. But without knowing anybody's schedule, it doesn't make sense for me to say, you know,
Right.
this that date because I'm bound to pick an inconvenient time. So
I get a new schedule every week, so I understand.
okay. So let's, you know, it'd be good if you could pick particular times during the week so everybody can count on it. But I want that to be at the convenience of the parties. All right.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you back here on the 15th. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Your
very
Honor.
much.
Yeah, thank you.